I think people asking is Steph a point guard or a shooting guard is a compliment to Steph because the reason they ask the question is because of how well he shoots the basketball.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so you shoot the basketball so well that everyone wants to make him a shooting guard. But the
Yep.
reality is, a lot of his shots are off the dribble. Number
Yep.
one,
Yes.
most
No
shooting
doubt.
guards
Yes.
didn't shoot
Yes.
off the dribble. When you
No,
talk
no
about
doubt.
prototypical
Yes.
shooting guards, most prototypical shooting guards was one or two drip bounces,
Bingo.
getting to their spot and pulling up, one or two bounces to the cup.
Yep.
That was a two guard. And so
It was
I
scores.
think it's such a compliment to him when people say that because you shoot the ball that well. But here's the thing. When you talk about why he's a point guard, is if you've ever watched Steph, and I've seen all of them, I'm blessed to say that. The amount of coverages that he's seen and had to read, like quarterbacks read coverages, point guards read coverages. The amount of coverages that Steph has had to read and being guarded, Bron has not seen, Kobe has not seen, MJ has not seen. There is not a person in NBA history that has seen the amount of defenses and different type of coverages that Steph Curry has seen. And to navigate that, still average almost 7 assists per game on a career, plus his points. And to get those reads. So for instance, Steph is averaging 6.5, six assists. I'm averaging 7.5, 8. I'm averaging those assists off of him making a quick read and getting me the ball and then allowing me to do what I do.
Yep.
But the quarterback still had to hit me on the route, right? Like,
Yep, for sure.
And that's why I say, no question he's a point guard, but it's the ultimate compliment because you're so great at a thing that they want to make you that other thing. That's
you know what
special.
what it is? He's a point guard who scores the way a shooting guard was traditionally supposed to score. Like point guards don't really, over the history of the league, put up 50s and 40s and things like that. So when you see somebody like even you, Penny, like I asked you, are you a point guard? Of course.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
When you play with Jason Kidd, you still a point guard. You a combo guard.
Yep.
And so now Steph has been called a hybrid guard. I say Penny Hardaway, point guard, point guard. Steph Curry, point guard, because he just revolutionized the way we play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like nobody I've never seen somebody score shooting guard points at the point guard position night in and night out. You know what I mean? I feel like Marbury was maybe one of the most potent point guard scorers.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Steph.
Iverson was a shooting guard. You know what I mean? And so like Steph is doing what Iverson is doing from the point guard position. And so it messes people's equilibrium up because that's not what you traditionally see.
Yeah, and it's like Dre said, Iverson saw man-to-man coverage, he saw double teams, but it's like he said, Steph has seen every coverage imaginable, but his IQ, along with Dre's IQ, and the way that Steve has the offense flowing, if we can give him that credit,
absolutely,
that marries everything together in a perfect form for how he plays the game. And then most of his shots are coming from him screening, him slipping a screen, him getting the dribble handoff, him throwing it and zooming it and chasing it and getting the shot and being able to make those shots while making those decisions.
Yeah,
and then I think he's gotten more backdoor cuts in his career in the last 2 or 3 years that I've ever seen because now he's reading them, overplaying them, and he's getting the back doors. And Dre's leading them before he moves, like throwing them open. So I'm watching all this like, man, it's unreal. He's been blessed to have Dre because everybody couldn't have been in the position Dre is in. Throwing somebody open versus throwing somebody a pass is two totally different things. He has to see him open and see the vision of where that ball needs to bounce for Steph to just get into that ball and just lay that ball up. So that's the beauty of the whole thing at Golden State that I marveled over, man. And I imagine myself playing in that system with those two dudes. That would be stupid, bro. And you beat us four, baby. Let's go.
Come on, man. I come off the bench. I ain't tripping.
That's me now, baby.
Hey, bro. I am not tripping. Let me come off the bench. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. No, that's fire. What we got?
I was gonna say you've been at Memphis since 2018.
18.
What?
What?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, bet
Okay.
I'll go there.
Okay.
Okay, bet I'll go there.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm a big fan of the current Orlando Magic team. It's crazy because if you go back and date these podcasts, during the draft year of Paolo Banchero, everybody was saying Jabari Smith Jr. should be the #1 pick. And I actually love Jabari Smith game, so this ain't a slight at all. But I said on this podcast, I said, yo, everybody talking about Jabari Smith being the #1 pick. To me, Paolo Banchero's the #1 pick. And they end up taking the intel from the Draymond Green show, and they did the right thing, and they drafted Paolo. But then they also did a great thing. They drafted Franz Wagner.
Yes.
You just said, if you were with us, how that would have been. How would you have foreseen playing with those two young guns? They both would be all-stars this year if they were playing. Paolo's been hurt for a while, and Fran, I don't know if his games is going to end up being enough to ultimately make it, but how could you saw yourself fitting in with those young guys that you got over there in Orlando right now?
Yeah, no, first of all, shout out to Jamal Mosley, man. The Orlando Magic, they did a great job on choosing him because he paid his dues, bro. So I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
He's done a phenomenal job with his staff of knowing who's who. He knew Paolo was that guy. And for me to play in that system, and like I said, with Franz, he's hurt, he's injured as well. He might be out for weeks.
Yeah.
So he's injured as well. But with those guys healthy, all I would have done is just fed off those guys. And whenever I needed to take over the game, I would. But I would let them know, hey, I got y'all back. And no matter what, let's go win. And I would have been the ultimate teammate. That's just who I was. I just wanted to win. And you use that youth and that talent, and you just get with them in the gym. We would have gotten in the gym a lot so that they could learn who I was and who they were. Then we would have watched film a lot just to try to get them to understand what the league was all about and how they could get an advantage on being young guys against veteran guys or guys in the league already. And Paolo came in just destroying from the beginning anyway. So that's what I would have done, man. It would have been fun to play with that group.
What do you think is next? Like, obviously, they got to get healthy.
Yeah.
And although I think they're having a great year, I don't quite think they're at that contender level yet. What do you think needs to happen for that team? Obviously, those two guys are staples, not going anywhere, be there for the next 10 years if they want to be. But what do you think that team needs to do in order to continue to take that next jump and take advantage of these young guys? Like, you want to take advantage of these guys while they're on low salaries, because once the salaries get too big, you start having to pluck pieces.
Yeah.
And Franz just got paid, Paolo will.
Yeah. I think what you have to do is you got to get smart vets. The guys like back in the day was like a James Posey or Tony Allen or
David West.
Guys like that, David West. Guys, like that are true professionals that know how to win, that still have enough game, that can get in the game and kind of help manage them. Kind of help understand that I'm going to take the best forward in the game if I'm a forward. You take the second level forward and watch how I do this. If I'm a guard that comes in, let me take the high level guard. You take that and just kind of teach them how to win. And I think that's the next level for Orlando. And it's beautiful. A city as Orlando is, man, with all the offer, they don't get vets that want to go there. And I understand, but in another way, I don't, because this team is up and coming, but they're going to need somebody that can get down there and kind of recruit vets in there. When I was in Orlando, the Orlando Magic hired Dr. J, Julius Erving, to come in.
Yes, sir.
To try to help recruit some vets in there, man. And Dr. J did a great job. So they need some guys that can get some vets in there to go. You can't go all young. That's not going to work. Yeah, they need some glue guys.
Glue guys.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. That's a problem around the league. A lot of places, people start getting rid of vets because the tax, penalties are so big, and that $3 million that a vet will make as opposed to the $1 million ends up costing $14 million as opposed to $2.5 million. And people start getting rid of vets, but I think the effect that it has on these organizations, like, you can say that $14 million if you want to, and don't get me wrong, $14 million is a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of these teams, you can try to say that $14 million if you want to, but your young guys end up turning into guys that never learn how to do it on their own. They have to then go get with somebody else because they didn't have a vet to show them how to do it, right? So then they go get the game, And then it's like, oh, I got the game now. All right, now but you kind of miss your window. You know what I'm saying? Like Steph is Steph because he was able to push through that window when he got the opportunity in year 5, you know, and like you start looking at guys who did it and pushed through their windows. They probably had some great vets around. Like we had incredible vets. You know, so when I speak of Steph, we had Bogut was great. You know, D. Lee. But we had Jared Jack come through there. We had Jermaine O'Neal come through there. We had Richard Jefferson come. Like we had great vets come through there. Then David West came in, and even though we had won championships, there we were still young, so we would still get wild. D. West, Andre come in the game, they settled the game down. Like we needed that. Although we had won championship before, it was like, yeah, we know how to win and we got the skill, but we needed those young. We come out there, me and Steph be fucking throwing it out of bounds. I throw it over here thinking he going that way, he just ran the other way. Like, but you know, to your point of passing them open, sometimes that happens, you know, and they come in and it's like, all right, now here we go. You know, and these teams don't have that, and it's a problem.
Yeah, that hurts me deeply, man. Watching, I was at an Aces game this summer, and I was sitting next to John Wall. That just doesn't sit well with me, bro. I know what happened in Washington, bro, but this man can help a team just for that main reason. Long as the veterans understand when you come in there what it's all about, I think that he deserved it. What if he was in Orlando to try to help out those young guards? I'm just saying, I'm just giving names, man. It's just, to me,
it's a lot of knowledge, man. It's like
you need the knowledge, man.